Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I just realised that my hair is really high up. There we go. It's back down. Sorry about that. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. We're going to be talking about game week 31, and we are going to try and predict every single game. There's 12 games, and we're going to give it our best shot to try and predict them all. A big shout out to two sponsors now. Well, we've got three sponsors altogether, but our two big sponsors are Indigo Resurrection Bar, which is where the old Devonshire Cat used to be in Sheffield. If you're not from Sheffield, sorry about that. If you're a Sheffield United season ticket holder too, you get 10% off all your drinks. And also Parrot Peel, the greatest band the world has ever seen. If you think that Queen are, or if you think Snow Patrol are, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong, because it is Parrot Peel. Anyway, before we get into it and bring Ollie into the stream, I need to let you know one little thing. He is extremely blurry tonight. That's the reason why we've not started on time. Unfortunately, his connection issues have made us a little bit late. It was almost going to be me making us late, and apparently Ollie had other ideas. So I'm going to bring him in. If he is very, very blurry, let us know, and we might get rid of his face altogether, but you'll still be able to hear his voice. So, Ollie, you are still blurry to me. Let us know in the comments right now if Ollie is blurry right now.
Well, just while we wait to find out whether or not I'm blurry, I'm interested to know that your shout out for best band of all time was Snow Patrol, which is a interesting reference point for you to make.
Do you want to tell you why that is? Because I said Queen. I'd not written anything down. I said Queen, and then the first band that came to mind was Snow Patrol. I don't know why. I don't even know if they've done anything in years. So, yeah, I just threw it out there. I'm not much of an indie/rock fan. So, yeah, that's why I did that. Apologies for that.
Yeah, well, I suppose we'll forgive you, but just update your references just for future. That's all I'm saying. Just think about it a bit more.
Update my brain. Charlie Brown just say we are the best duo to ever grace the YouTube scene, in my honest opinion. Ollie goated. There you go. And then bit of Nick, bit of love, and then he looks fine, still a go. So I don't know whether he's just being nice or whether you are, in fact, clear as a picture. That's not at all what the saying is. But no one's telling us. Joachim says, yeah. So let's just go for it, mate. The last time we predicted scores, yet again, I did slightly better. But every single time that you do better than me, you batter me. But I reckon that if we add them up, well, no, not add them all together. I reckon if we add up all the weeks, I will have won more weeks. But you have trounced me in a few. So currently, Ollie, after last week, I got 8 points. You got 5 points. So this is how it currently stands. The viewers are on 291 because
they are so much better than us. Oh, no, sorry, because you wanted to know this week's score. Because this week we had a number of decent scores, to be honest, from our viewers. We had 3 people tie in second place. Shout out for Wolfgang Bailey, for Pete Day once again up there. And a huge shout out for Charlie Brown, because he's been shouting me out. And so I'm going to shout him out as well. And then our winner last week was a long way ahead. And that was SUFC Tobe. Got himself 15 points. So, yeah, it's a very good performance from the viewers. Once again, they annihilate us more than anybody else.
Yes, they always do, don't they? They always do. Now, you're getting some pelters in the comments here, mate, about being on dial-up, Ollie's internet dying. But I think as long as people know that you are blurry, tonight he is blurry Ollie. I was trying to make something up off the top of my head. And if you've never seen this show before, you know that I can't do that. So blurry Ollie instead of beastly Ollie for the first time. So let's just get into it straight away. I think we're having a lot of nice comments here. I love this one from Glyn. What an absolute legend of a man. I don't know who that is with the face on Miley Cyrus's, but I'd really like to know, Glyn. So let us know in the comments. Now, let us talk about Birmingham City versus West Bromwich Albion. And what is it? It's a West Midlands derby. What were you thinking it was going to be, Ollie?
I knew it was a West Midlands derby, but I was like, it's a battle of the Birmingham people.
Battle of the West Midlands.
Battle of the West Midlands, yay! Just hearing the comments, I will try and not move. It's going to be difficult for me. I'm a very twitchy kind of guy, but I'll try and sit still so that I don't look like I'm glitching too far out of the screen. But yeah, this is an interesting one because Birmingham have decent recent form in this one. They've won the last 2, but prior to that, they had a shocker. So they've won the last 2, but before that, no winning 9. They'd lost 7. So it's hard to know quite where it's going in terms of the head-to-head. But Birmingham got a fantastic win last week. They beat Swansea coming from behind with 2 goals in the last minute. That was off the back of a 5-game losing streak. So I just think there's some momentum there. I think West Brom, can they have been destabilised? There's a lot of speculation about Corberan. I know he's put that to bed. I know he's signed a new contract that he very much deserves, but I just worried that they'd been destabilised when I was looking at this prediction. I thought that Birmingham will try and take forward momentum from last weekend. My head said a draw.
Yeah, and I've gone one step further. West Brom fans, if you're watching this right now, you will hate us. I guarantee it. But
it's fair enough.
Yeah, just from what you've said, West Brom, slight hiccup, and Birmingham City will be absolutely buzzing after that win away at Swansea City. And again, this is a West Midlands derby, and anything can happen in a West Midlands derby. Let's move on to the next game. And it is Blackpool versus Rotherham United, and I've gone for a Blackpool win just because we know that Rotherham don't score a lot of goals, and that's why I've gone for them scoring 0 goals. So yeah, for some reason my heart told me Blackpool are going to sneak this game. What are you thinking, Ollie?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one because Blackpool had such a weird game midweek. You go 1-0 down, you go down to 10 men. You score a late equaliser and you're really celebrating, and then you concede a late loser and you're all down in the dumps again. Everything's awful. And then you score another late equaliser. So it's hard to know quite what their sort of players are going to come into this one thinking. I know that obviously McCarthy's probably not had the best start, not had the impact he wanted so far, but this is one that he'll be looking at saying a huge 6-pointer. And whichever team wins this, it's a massive, massive step in that relegation battle. Rotherham, I thought, were decent against United. I thought defensively they were really, really solid. But like you say, they've just not got enough going forwards, really, to give me so much confidence in these games. Looking at their sort of form over the season, we've got the 3rd worst team at home playing the 3rd worst team away. And that, to me, means that there's no way of separating them, and a draw.
Again, could even be a 0-0. Could even be.
Could be a 0-0, but Blackpool don't do 0-0. Blackpool don't do 0-0. That's my experience.
No, and certainly Blackburn don't do 0-0s either because they don't draw many games. But yeah, we'll move on from that and we'll just bring this up on screen. Yes, Johnny, I think you two and Vizza, love a bit of Vizza, are all my favourite Burnley fans. And actually, I think you're the only Burnley fans that I can think off the top of my head, other than the Safe Style UK guy. I think it was Safe Style UK guy. You buy one, you get one free. That's going to be before Ollie's time. I'm sure of it. But I remember
I remember the Safe Style UK guy. Don't paint me as one of the, don't make me an uneducated swine. Yeah,
not educated, just a young lad.
I'll take that. I actually do work with a Burnley fan. He sits next to me, and I don't think Johnny Oglin have anything to worry about. He's not making the list.
When I heard the Safe Style UK guy, he used to be the stadium announcer at Turf Moor, and I'm pretty sure he was the stadium announcer when Lee Baxter had the worst game for any goalkeeper Sheffield United's ever seen. So if you're a Burnley fan and you remember that, fair enough, because he was very, very terrible. Anyway, let's move on to talking about Bristol City versus Norwich City. Ole, what is it?
A battle of the cities.
Battle of the cities. And you've gone for Norwich to bounce back, have that bounce back ability. And I'm going for Bristol City drawing this game because I feel like Norwich City have got humbled a little bit in that last game against Burnley because they got absolutely hammered. Wait a second, have we had one since then?
No, that was the last one.
No, I was going to say I thought so. They got humbled massively against Burnley, hammered, if you wouldn't mind. And away from home this one, so I think Bristol City might just sneak a draw, but Norwich have been good as of late.
Yeah, funny game this one. Norwich have been good, but like you say, they got taught a bit of a lesson last week. You just can't make defensive mistakes on the level they were making against Burnley because you're just going to get a spanking. But, however, a little bit of research. Norwich always beat Bristol City. They've won 8, drawn 3 of the last 11. They are just Bristol City's bogey side. This is just one of them games where Norwich bounce back, and I think they'll win comfortably in the Battle of the Birds.
Battle of the Birds, Battle of the Cities, Battle of the Birds. Gotta love that. Robins versus Canaries. Scott is on it. Yeah. And I also love your profile picture, Scott. So keep that up. There's a few draws. There's a Bristol City win here. There's a 3-0 Norwich win. This one could go any which way possible. Let's move on to talking about one that I think we both think is going to go one way and one way only. And that is a Burnley Football Club win. This could be 2-0. It could be 4-0. It could be 12-0. It is Burnley after all. They like scoring goals hitting the back of that net. And I'm going to shout out my banker for Burnley. So there you go. That's me.
Yeah, I can see it. Look, from my perspective, I say this every week. Preston are great away from home. They average something like 2 points per game. And that's a fantastic record. But Burnley, I think, are unbeaten at Turf Moor this season. And they're the best team in the league by an absolute mile. They're unbeaten in the last 5 against Preston. They've won 9 in a row now in the Championship. And my most fun stat for Burnley so far is that they are overperforming their XG by about 20, which is insane. I think they'll just keep doing that and they'll continue performing at a level that we've not seen very often in the Championship with another comfortable win. And yeah, I know you're going to shout out Daniel's banker there, aren't you?
Yeah, that is a crazy, crazy banker, Daniel. One thing that I will say, and I don't want Johnny or Glyn to hate us after this, but do you think this is a crazy, crazy season for Burnley? Like you say, outscoring their XG. Do you think another season Burnley aren't top of the league by a mile?
No.
Fair enough. Right, let's move on.
Let's move on. No, so I think from my perspective, look, yes, they've outperformed their XG by an unbelievable amount. So I think the level of performance that they've put up in terms of them probably going on and getting more than 100 points, that's insane. And you're right that most seasons they wouldn't go on and win the league by 20 points, as they're probably going to now. But I still think that most seasons they turn up and win the league. It might just be a closer battle.
Fair enough. Fair enough. If they're outscoring their XG, then that is madness. It's fantastic, and everybody wants to see that because the Blades, we've been taking a lot of good chances recently. We've not been creating massive amounts, and we've been scoring an odd 1 or 2 goals here or there. But yeah, in the last game against Wrexham, we created way more chances than we took. It was crazy. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Cardiff City versus Middlesbrough. And I've had one Middlesbrough fan chirping at me on Twitter. He said, and I quote, 10 points is not a lot this season in the Championship. Now, we've not lost for what seems to be 3 months, something like that. And he thinks we're going to lose 4 games and they're going to win 4 games. So now this could happen, but he's saying, and we've got a game in hand over them as well. So that could be 13, but 10 points is not a lot in this league. I agree, except for if you are Burnley or Sheffield United that aren't losing games of football. So that pal is wrong.
Yeah, I like how you've really taken out your anger and punished him by backing a draw against Cardiff. That's a great likely outcome.
Away from home, I just feel like Borough are playing so well at the moment. They've got to have that game where they just can't hit a barn door. And I feel this could be it, but it might just be me being biased or wishful thinking or whatever you think. It could be a little bit of that, but I've gone 1-1.
Do you know what's fun, Nick? I've got one word for you. Banker.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I can't wait to come back on here midweek next week and say, Ollie, remember when you banked Middlesbrough and they drew 1-0? You silly sausage.
Well, maybe, but look, this is as much about Cardiff as it is about Middlesbrough, because Cardiff have scored 2 goals in the last 8. They've brought former Forest manager Sabri Lamouchi in, and 2 defeats from 2, 0 goals scored. Not a great start from, is it? I remember quite liking his Forest team, and then they had that absolutely hilarious collapse at the end of the season when they went from being almost nailed on for automatic promotion to finishing 7th and not even making the playoffs. Borough, though, they're on a fantastic roll. But what I want to shout out here, Chuba Akpom, how many goals? He'd played 128 games professionally in England before this season. How many goals do you think he'd scored in 120 games?
He scored barely anything, I know that. 12.
Yes. All right. Yeah.
I did not know that. People, I did not know that before Ollie said that. I was going to go 7 and I thought 7's not a lot. I'm going to have to up that a little bit.
He'd scored 12 in 120 before this season. This season, 17 in 25, top scorer in the Championship.
Absolutely mental.
What do you say? I mean, they're on fire. I just think that Borough are going to win this one. I think they'll win it comfortably as well.
Fair enough. I'm trying to read Johnny's message because he asked me to read it. We've had 16 out the door and top of the league. Okay. Fair enough. Anyway, let's move on.
I think it's more about the players who lost in the summer, innit? And obviously the impression that they've then kicked on from that perspective, especially with a change of style.
Yeah. It wasn't really me saying that Burnley are doing so much better than I expected. I put them top of the league in our prediction video right at the start of the right at the start of the season, sorry. So I expected Burnley to do well. They've definitely done better than what everyone expects, I think, because they are running away with the title. And a few weeks ago, I was saying, "Oh, we're gonna try and catch Burnley. Burnley are gonna trip up. We're gonna keep winning." And now I'm not saying that anymore. I am saying that Burnley are going to run away with it, unless they have some sort of colossal collapse, which I can't see. And I can't see us overtaking them anyway. So I'm looking over my shoulder to Borough rather than looking in front of my shoulder to Burnley. That's not the right thing to say. Let's move on. Let's talk about Coventry City versus Luton Town. And you've gone for a draw. I've gone for a Luton win because Luton are very good at professional football.
Luton are incredible. And like, where have they come from? Because they're now joint points
Luton,
with Middlesbrough
Ollie.
with a game
Luton.
in hand. Luton, well, yeah.
That's where they come from.
But joint points with Middlesbrough with a game in hand on Middlesbrough. And yet, the only team we're talking about chasing us is Middlesbrough. Like, it's insane the run they're on. I think they've won 6 of the last 7. So they've really been in cracking form. And the only one that they didn't win, they lost 3-2, didn't they, to West Brom when they were 2-0 up. So that's a bit of a fluke. This is a difficult one to shout out. So I've gone a draw. I think Coventry, they need more depth in the squad. But if they can get 10 of their normal 11 players on the pitch, they're a very good team. And for some reason, I keep thinking they're going to do that, even though inevitably they won't.
Yeah, Luton keep grinding out these games as well. You're looking at them and you're thinking they're going to drop points at some point. Same as every team. But again, it might be wishful thinking, but I think it's also because you look at the Luton side and you're like, not a lot of stars in there. But that's probably why they're so good, because they all pull together as a team and they do keep nicking these Ollie McBlurry. Oh, fantastic. Well done. Done. But yeah, let's move on. Let's talk about QPR versus Millwall. I've gone for a QPR win. You've gone for a Millwall win. I don't know. I just stuck my hand in a bucket and pulled out a 2-0 win.
Yeah, well, 8 games without a win for QPR, and they've won 1 of the last 15.
But
you
can prove anything with stats. So stop doing that.
Yeah, indeed, I'll stop. But Millwall, I just think they're a horrible team to play at the best of times. They're certainly not, when you're desperate for a result on a bad run, they're not the team you want to be playing. I think Millwall have got good playoff ambitions themselves, and they'll be thinking, yeah, let's win this one and really keep pressure on.
Oh, that's just made me laugh. Because, if you don't know about Alan Luton, he said some very unsavoury things about Luton on our fan cams back in the day. So if you want to just search Sheffield United Luton on this channel, you will see our fan cams and see what Hal said about Luton. It was hilarious. Not hilarious because I don't agree with it, but he got a lot of hate after that. He really, really did. Yeah, I'm just running through the scores. 1-2, 1-1. I don't know why I said 1-2. That sounds like I'm
1-2.
1-2. Keep your 1, Millwall 2. It's 2-1 Millwall. Battle of the Londons. I like it. Joachim, I like that a lot. 1-0 Millwall. Everyone going for a Millwall win. Everyone thinking I am crazy. London Derby. Yeah, London Derby tax on this game. So you never know. It might be a cheeky little QPR 2-0 win. I would love that. Next up, we've got the Blades, the mighty Blades, playing Swansea City. Now, we've both gone for a Blades win. I think mine is a little bit more heart than head because I think we will sneak this game. We've not been playing too well as of late, but if the Blades are on song, we can easily score 3 goals. And I think that's kind of what I've gone for.
Yeah, I think for me, this is a tricky one because last week were just so boring, weren't it? Like against Rotherham, it was just a really, really dull game, a really typical 0-0, but quite symptomatic of what United have done recently, where it has been dull, boring games that we've edged with sort of scoring early. But then I think midweek is a bit of a game changer. You know, we scored 2 very, very late goals. We've set up a really sexy looking home tie against Spurs. We've managed to, you know, really rile up absolutely everybody in the world by Billy Sharp doing Billy Sharp things, which I absolutely love. Whereas Swansea themselves are just feels like there's something off on this. You know, they threw away that lead against Birmingham last weekend, and it's not quite sitting well, it don't feel, with Russell Martin. You know, they've not won in 3. They saw in January that they've lost players and not recruited. You know, they've got an injury to Latibodiere and Martin really wanted to replace and they hasn't been able to. Just feels like there's a cloud. So I think United might hopefully fancy this one. But to be honest, I don't disagree necessarily with Johnny's thoughts because it's not.
Come on, man. Johnny's off his head. Can't banker a 2-0 win at Bramall Lane. Come on, Johnny. You better than that.
I bankered it.
No, definitely not banker. I think that's where my outrage come from. The banker. Johnny, you got us to lose every week. Don't get on Johnny's back because at the end of the day, it's wishful thinking. I've been doing it all the way through this. Other than Burnley,
I think today with your banker is the first time you've had Burnley to win in about 3 months.
That's because I'm like, yeah, they're far gone. They're far and away. And you know that they're not going to win this game because I have banked them. So maybe it's a bit of reverse psychology. Who knows? Yeah. Clip it. I forgot what I'm clipping, but anyway, let's move on.
Wayne is laughing at his banker, I think.
Wayne is way behind, but Manish has gone for 2-0 Sheffield, but this is not Sheffield FC that we're talking about. It's Sheffield United. Now let's move on to another battle of the cities. It's Stoke City versus Hull City. I've gone for a sneaky little Stoke win. Hull still doing well at the moment, but yeah, I've gone for home tax on this one.
I get it, but, you know, very, very under the radar, Hull. You know, they're only 4 points outside the playoffs. They've won 4 of the last 6. They're a fantastic away team. I remember when they came to Bramall Lane, we did quite a bit of focus on how good their away form has been since Rosinha came into the club. They've still only lost 1 game since the World Cup break, and that was at Bramall Lane. So they've certainly going to be a team that's looking up. Stoke, I think, you know, I wrote them off and told everybody that they can't score any goals. They then stuck 4 past Reading. So I have no idea what to expect from Stoke. And I just think it's going to be fairly dull, this one. I think it's going to be a dull 1-1.
Oh, fair enough. Lee's gone for a banker on Hull 2-0 away. 2-2 for Johnny. He's not thinking this is going to be dull. Let's keep on moving. Yeah, 1-2. 1-2. I said it again. Stoke 1, Hull 2. 1-0. Yeah, what's going on? Anyway, let's move on to our next game, which is Sunderland versus Reading. Sunderland Football Club versus Reading Football Club. Oh, there's an athletic in there, isn't there?
What?
Athletic? Sunderland AFC? Association Football Club.
It's just AFC. It's Association Football Club.
Sorry, I'm all over the place.
What are you talking about, man?
Battle of the no second names, we'll say that. Yeah. I'm just always after a battle. It's 2-2 this game. That's what it's going to be. That's what I've gone for. Mm-hmm. I just feel like Reading are a side at the moment that kind of just don't want to lose. And they did really well against Watford. and I feel like they're going to draw again.
Yeah, it's very much possible. But, Reading, brilliant at home, horrible away form. They're another one of these teams, I think, the second bottom of the league on away form alone. And so this is really difficult for them. Sunderland haven't had things all their way at home either. I think their away record is their home record, is fairly average. Oh, you can see me. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, you are perfect. Yeah, it's only taken 25 minutes.
25 minutes and we're on the last game. But, at least I'm here.
Third to last game.
Yes, of course. But yeah, this is a weird one. So, it's bad away form against average home form. I just think that Sunderland will win it. They had disappointment last night against Fulham, but I just think they're a better team, really.
Yeah, there we go. Battle of the weird form, then out of form teams. Next up, we have got Watford at home versus Blackburn Rovers. I've gone for a 3-1. You've gone for a 1-0. Blackburn Rovers only seem to do well when nobody ever expects them to do well. So this could be one of those games.
Do you know when Blackburn do badly?
Go on.
When I back them to win 4-0 and stick a banker on it. That's when Blackburn do badly.
That is true. Do you want to do it now?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I know. Never again. I'd rather they win the league than I do that again. But no, they couldn't draw for love nor money for so long this season. Then suddenly, including the FA Cup, they've drawn 3 of their last 4. It's a bit insane, really, the way that they've come. They're not on a fantastic run. So I just think they're dropping, but I think they're capable of taking on Watford because Watford in it.
I beat you to it. Sorry about that, mate. And I know I took your glory there. Do you want to do it again?
I think they'll probably be able to get a result here because
Watford in it.
Watford in it.
I wasn't even going to do that to you. And I thought this is a perfect time to just ruin it again.
I respect it.
Do you want to go again?
Nope.
No, we're not allowed to anyway. Let's move on to Wigan versus Huddersfield Town. 2 teams. Huddersfield's not done too bad recently, but I feel like this is the game of the week where there's going to be 0 goals.
It's a funny one. Obviously, Huddersfield sacked the manager, did they, yesterday, I think. So looking for another new manager for them this season. It's an interesting one because they were part of that game with Blackpool where, in reverse, they've gone ahead early. They're playing against 10 men. They've managed to concede an equaliser, immediately respond to win the game, only to concede again. I know the Huddersfield fans that I've spoke to were really, really angry about this. They wanted Fotheringham sacked. They thought it was time. They thought the team had just lost all fight and that they had no real plan. But I just think they're better than Wigan. It's not really a statement for me on Huddersfield. I think Wigan are a team themselves that are in a bit of crisis. Maloney got a decent first result, but I just don't really think they're good enough.
Well, fair enough. I understand it. I respect it. I don't think either of them are good enough to score a goal in this game, and neither does Lee.
Good enough to stay up.
Yeah, I know. Lee's absolutely backing me there. That's a 0-0, and you've gone for a 2-0 Huddersfield. That's our last game, Ollie. We've been talking for about 1 million years, so let's leave it there. Thank you very much. As always, blurry Ollie, which I've only just seen right now. Did you change that just as you stopped being blurry?
I changed it right at the start.
Oh, I've not even noticed.
Literally right at the start.
Fair enough. You could have changed it to Ollie McBlurry halfway through, couldn't you?
I should have done as soon as we saw the comment, but I didn't want to steal somebody else's thunder. It was a cracking joke, but not my own. I'm no thief.
I wouldn't steal anyone's glory as well, and I certainly wouldn't do it twice. Anyway, let's leave it there. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining in and giving us your scores as we went along. We absolutely love everyone being involved in the stream. If you weren't there, we wouldn't have anywhere near as much of a good time. So thank you very much for joining. Thank you, Ollie, and we'll see everybody very, very soon.